because I'm like, well, just as long as I get there safe, like, I really don't care. Like,
but that's what submission is. That's what submission is that you.
Down that I think everybody is at some point deserving to receive love and to be even into marriage if they do aspire for marriage.
I believe that society shapes how we view things and how we look at things in our life.
Make your own bed. That's basically what Kevin Samuels is saying. His delivery is what people kind of throws people off. But basically,
aggressive or like violent, like where I think toxic masculinity is
no offense to men, that they also get this idea that, you know, women are just going to take care of them and everything is going to be like easy.
A domestic violence shelter, and he brought her up to be, you know, a $25,000.
Hell yeah, you need to judge in dating. It is what it is. You know, you can't not judge people just because you feel bad about it. Like, you need to know.
As much as I love my daughter, there are some harsh realities and some things that her mother and I teach her in order to help her to understand. And
like, I'm sure everyone knows a woman that, you know, had sex with her date at the
Oh, damn. There we go. What's going on? Welcome back to CKQ Podcast. I'm your host, Clement, and before we introduce our lovely panelists, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe to this button. Hit the like and subscribe button to this channel for more content like this. We go live once a week, Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So, let's introduce our panelists. We got the doctor.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's John. I'm coming to you live from Dallas, Texas. Out here training. You're probably gonna see some other people come on here, making it a corporate thing. You see me behind. I'm in the lobby of the Hilton, and we're gonna have fun tonight.
We're gonna have some fun.
We're gonna have some fun. So hit that like button.
We got Chris.
hi everyone, my name is Chris. I have a channel called The Blooming Ebony, and you can also follow me on Instagram at The Blooming Ebony. I haven't been very active, but this Sunday we have Petals of Wisdom. Hopefully, I haven't found those details yet, but you can find me on Sundays for Petals of Wisdom, which is once a month. And then I'll have more content coming out soon. But while you're here at CKQ Podcast, hit that like button and subscribe.
We got Danielle.
There
we go.
I'm unmuted. Hi, my name's Danielle. You can find me on Instagram at Fly Nurse Mom Wife, or here on YouTube because I'm never at my own channel.
Appreciate the love.
I appreciate the work.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get into our show. Today's show, a lot of people don't have standards. Okay, that's really what we're going on. Things men wish women knew about them. That's how we're starting it off today. Okay. So, first question that I'm going to drop to the panel is. Would appreciate the clap. School, career, and children over finding a husband. Is that world we live in today? School, career, and children over finding a husband.
Oh.
Danielle?
Unfortunately, yeah. I think I shared the video. If I didn't, I probably was too sad to share it, but it was a video of a young lady. I think she's a teacher or something like that. She was talking to some kids and she asked the young lady, this girl was a baby. I mean, I think she's saying like only 8 years old, something like that. Like little baby, little tiny thing. Maybe she was, I don't know. She was young. But she's talking about that she wanted to have kids, but that she didn't want the husband because she couldn't collect child support. So he might be crazy or something.
What?
And so the lady was like, and I had to ask her, well, if he is too crazy to like marry, then why would you sleep with him?
Why would you have a kid with him?
But then the video cut off. I was interested in the rest of the interaction because that said that these young ladies are speaking like this. I remember being a little kid and like speakers coming to your school and speaking, and I'm feeling like maybe people don't do that anymore. Did your school have stuff like that?
I mean, I remember speakers like coming up and speaking to us about what, like children?
About whatever. Like when I was a little kid, every now and again, we would have successful people come to speak to us. Whatever they felt like they wanted their message to be is what they would speak on. And we would sit and listen to them speak.
Nah, we had like bands come over. Like One Direction, that band.
We've had famous people come, but that's for entertainment. We need like
like I mean, maybe I was a bad kid though. Like I'm not even gonna like cap. Like not even a bad kid. I just didn't pay attention at all in class. But so maybe there could have been some. I just would never know. The world may never know. But yeah, okay. So you agree that a husband is not really something that is glorified or.
It's not even being taught to be desired, it seems like. And it's very sad. It's like so sad because it's just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, where's your dad? Like, really? My dad was barely there, but I still don't want to collect no dang on child support. Because I know how hurt I felt not having my dang on daddy there. Like, what?
Yeah. Okay. Doctor, you free?
What's happening?
So, what do you think of the question? School, career, and children over finding a husband.
Yeah.
Is that the world we live in?
I don't agree with it, but that is the climate. That's the climate that we're in. Women are choosing. You don't see a lot of women making a husband a priority. Like it's just not a thing anymore. Most women are focused on their career, focusing on school, and that has taken the place of focusing on bettering themselves from a wife's view, from a wife's point of view, being a better wife, getting ready to be a wife. That has been replaced because the thought process is that I got to be ready in case he leaves me. So we're gonna do this first. Get this education out the way, then I'll worry about a husband. Or if one just come in totally like the white knight, just perfect, then I'll stop and I'll marry him.
But he has to be.
Who do you know that's perfect?
Most dads aren't even perfect.
Huh?
Most dads aren't even perfect.
Right. So everybody is planning for the breakup.
It's crazy though, because I think even like I've heard a lot of moms even warn their kids that even when you get married, when you get with your husband, just always keep some to the side just in case, because you never know. Which is crazy to me because it's kind of like, wait, so you want him to support you? You're also going to be working, but then stashing stuff to the side? Like you're already coming in with the exit strategy every single time, which
you coming in with an exit strategy.
Yeah.
Like you're not. All right. Yeah, everybody's coming in with an exit strategy. I think men and women though. More so women than men.
Men, how so?
Okay, so the 1% of the men who hit that the top 1% of the male population who's really earning money, they are asking for prenups by the like way at a higher rate than before.
Okay.
Right? Women are positioning themselves like, I'm gonna leave you. I know you're gonna leave one day, so I'm just gonna be ready for when you do. That's what all that preparation is. I want to go get this degree. I want to spend from 18 to 23, 22, 23 getting a degree. Then I'm gonna do an internship, and I'm still not focused on being a wife. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So now, by the time she's 23, to put things into perspective, by the time a woman is 23, she's got 7 years. If she stopped and started focusing right there, she's got 7 really good years to land the man that she wants. 7. Because once you hit 30, that's a pivotal point in a woman's life. And that is a very pivotal point in a woman's life. If she doesn't have a child at that point, the way she sees life is going to be different. Or if she has any type of flaws, they're going to be really magnified by the time she's 30, and that's just going to be natural because she doesn't have that youth anymore like she had before. So her self-esteem starts to drop just a little bit. And then this was somebody who was considered like a dime or a 6 or above. What if you weren't a 6 or above? What if you were like an adjustable 4 or 5? Now, how do you feel?
Usually, isn't it that the ones that are like 4s and below are actually getting married?
The ones that are 4s and below, yeah, they like, nah, you know what I'm saying? But hey, look, I know I ain't perfect. I'm gonna go on and boo this nigga up. What it is.
It was already hard enough in middle school for them. So it was
hold on, we got somebody with a question. Get on up there. There go the camera up there. Introduce yourself. Tell them who you are.
You gotta come up closer. If
you gotta come all the way up on it. So you can see. There you go. Okay.
Okay. But one thing that you mentioned is that women nowadays are focusing more on their job, their career path. So in the event something happens, they're still going to be good and change. However, wouldn't you as a man appreciate a woman that will be able to hold it down? So in the event something happened to you, whether it was physically, mentally, or anything like that, you know she has enough skills to maintain. Nothing's going to miss a beat because she can't get holding her own, knowing how to do everything that needed to be done. So in the event you become incapacitated in any way, you're not missing a beat because you know your girl got your back.
So let me ask you this, because he
gonna get it. Get him.
I agree with that, and that's good.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
are most women going in with the premise of if my man goes down, I'm going to be able to step up, or are they going in with the premise of if anything ever happens, I can cover myself?
I think it's a little bit of both. But as for me, it's a little bit of both because I have to make sure if I come into something not really knowing how to manage things or do things, and something happens, what am I gonna do? I won't know how to do anything. I have to be able to maintain and do what I need to do. I'm sorry, it's my son's baseball coach. Hold on.
Okay. He's trying to run. It's okay.
So when she come back, I'm gonna tackle that one. I'll tackle it. So right. You can go on and go to, I think it's Danielle next, I think, or Chris. Or was I last? It's Chris.
No, it's Chris. Isn't it? Chris next. How you doing over there, Chris?
Doing well.
Yeah.
I have my wine, my tea. It's like a picnic.
Ooh. Whoa. Okay.
Mixing it up. I think so. Yes, to an extent. I think that women were told to get this, like, go to school, get the career, and even if they have a child, it's okay because men anyways, like that they can still have children and not find the husband. I think because taught for a long time that men aren't necessary, that men are a burden. Like oftentimes I do think a lot of women, when I hear them speak, they kind of talk about men as if they're disabled, like they're just not capable of doing the things that they need to do. And it's really like even before the child's born, you hear other moms saying, "Oh, he's not going to help. He's not going to wake up with the baby. He's not going to help you. You're going to be by yourself. You're going to be alone. You're going to be isolated. It's only you. It's your baby. It's the mom's baby." I think that they're taught that they have to take care of themselves because a man, even if he's there, he's not going to take up any space. Like he's just going to sit there and act dumb, and he might work, he might not work. So make sure you take care of your own.
Damn, they just erased everything. It's also portrayed a lot in media that way, same exact way. A lot in movies that just men aren't really going to be someone useful in the family. Where when they are there, they're just kind of sleeping. Mom is always a superhero who can go to work, come home, cook, mow the lawn, clean the gutters, plunge the toilet, be a plumber, do everything. And then the man is still like, even a lot of times in movies, I would see like kids asking like, "Oh, like what's dad doing, or what's dad kind of like good for?" You know?
May I add? Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure.
You go ahead.
Not only, so there are dads, I'm sure there are men that aren't productive, but what the media does that really sinks in is that they show that when the man is gone, life is better. That's the main thing that I think hits. It's people, no one's perfect, right? There are people in the world that are not productive, right? Yeah. And oftentimes we don't choose well. But I think what really hits home is that when he's gone, you're better off. And that's what's sticking with a lot of women now. And that's the problem.
Damn.
Not he was just a bad apple. It's no, men are the problem.
Do you think it's because I think it's also the fact that women can't really handle rejection. So so if they deal with the one bad guy, they just blanket state it as, instead of kind of like, whereas men, it's kind of like rejection happens over and over. So we don't think all women are just going to be that way. We just think, okay, it was just her bad day. Versus women kind of hold on to that a little bit more and just say, okay, that's just how men are. All men are trash. Thoughts? Chris looks like she wants to disagree with me.
I don't know. I just watched a video by PMP, Poor Man's Podcast, and he did a reaction to this woman. This man was saying, I think someone was interviewing them, and the guy asked this other young man who was sitting next to this young woman if he would make out with her, if he would kiss her. And he looked at her and he was like, "No, I have a lady over there." And like he rejected her. And when he walked away, they continued interviewing the young lady, and she was like, "Oh, he's an a-hole. Like he's awful. He's the worst person ever because he straight up rejected her." And so I don't think I can disagree based off of that scenario. I don't really know. I don't hear that often, but I assume that men would probably know that better than I would.
Men take rejections in the chin. Not the best. Not always. Actually, not always. I can't really say that. There's some men, like you said the last time, Danielle, that they just be bugging. But let's hit this real quick. Today, when men and women can go on social media and just hook up without commitment, many folks are not thinking of marriage anymore. Put the wine in the tea and shake it all up. What? Yeah, but who is this really kind of a detriment to, though?
women and end the day.
Hello?
Hello?
There we go. Look at that. You hear us?
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings. You hear us?
Yes, I can. I can.
Okay. So, what do you have to say? School, career, and children over finding a husband. Is that what the world is that the world we live in today? Talk to me. Or what do you want to say?
Okay. Like I stated in my comment, today when people can go on social media and hook up, they're not thinking about husbands and wives. And quite often people end up pregnant, which is not something they're looking forward to at some point, but it's the reality of procreation, right? But women and men having separate bank accounts is nothing new. Back in the days, they called that a rainy day fund. And back in the days, there were more abuse going on in relationships. So the women would have that money stashed away if they have to run. But when situation, pardon?
Oh, whoops. Let me say that again.
Stop the cap.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah. So that was like their safety, because back then it was not expected for women to money to take care of themselves and their children if they're in abusive relationships. So a lot of women end up staying in abusive relationships. So mothers start teaching their daughters, okay, stash money away. You didn't have a bank account, but you hide this money because if you ever need it, it's going to be there. And most of the time, this money came into play when something happened with the family and the man cannot provide. So the woman came out with this money and say, well, I've been saving this for situations like these. Okay, it's not, and I strongly agree that both husband and wife, yes, we have a family account and all of that, but we should also have our side money where if there's an emergency of some sort, we can go into that. It does not have to do with anything with the expense account. It doesn't have anything to do with an emergency account or, the regular savings or whatever you have with the family. It's just some money to know that if there's an emergency, there's something on the side that you can look forward to. That's number one. And number two, that's your 8-year-old girl. Seriously?
Yes.
8 years old.
Yes.
I'm shocked.
I was so hurt. I said that's horrible, and they need like some type of mentorship program for these young ladies to come and speak with them.
Because there is not there's just too much Netflix and chill, and not enough parenting, and not enough educating the young people.
I think that's a lot more glorified though. Like when is it goes back to, again, being a husband. Boys don't grow up wanting to be husbands.
Except for my son.
Well, because you as a mother. But boys don't grow up wanting to be husbands. No, like a husband is not something that's kindly spoken about. A husband is not something portrayed well. And so why would even like taking it back from husband, just a man in general. Like there's boys nowadays just don't really want to have to grow up to become that man, because a man is even looked at as a bad thing. It's portrayed poorly. So I don't know. I think it's there has to be a lot of reform for little girls and boys, but I don't know. What do you guys think of that?
I usually agree with stuff that John say, but it bothers me when he talk about the age of a woman between 23 and 30. It's like what I'm getting from what he's saying is focus more on getting a husband and having a family and less on having a career, and stuff like that. And that bothers me. And maybe I'm interpreting it incorrectly, but that's the vibe I'm getting. A young lady can focus on career, husband, and family and not having to choose one or the other. I guess there's an age limit as to when we can have kids. And once we go past a certain age, I understand that, in today's society, it'd be like, well, if you have a child after this age, it becomes, dangerous for you. But back in the days, this was not an issue. And women had kids in their upper ages, all right? But they still had families and they still had careers. It's just today that, the age and the family thing is being focused on more than career and goals, and
no, I would say that's the way around. A lot more career is being focused on and a lot less family or children. Well, children and career is focused on.
Yeah.
Family is not actually focused on at all. A lot more people push for you go and get that career, you get the bag, you prep for everything. Hell, even have a kid. But don't really, that family, that's where you kind of go wrong because now you tie yourself down. You don't really get to have your fun. There's nothing positive said ever about marriage. It's usually like your best years are behind you once you're married. Like that's what you hear a lot more of.
And now I think even having children is starting to fall off. I'm hearing a lot more about like being child free and trying to push for young women to get their tubes tied after they're 18, like pushing for that.
Wow.
So it's even like I'm hearing a lot more women talk about feeling indifferent about having kids. And it's happening at a younger and younger age. I think it's different if you feel indifferent at 32 or like 28 even. If you're like, I don't think it's for me. But at like 20, I think that's a bit shocking.
Yeah, that's definitely something in the schools. Doctor, you free? Go.
Could this be?
What'd you say?
No, go ahead. You were talking.
All right.
Okay.
So let her go. Let her go because she was gonna say something. I know she wanted me to address the time frame.
That's why I wanted you to address that.
Okay, so the time frame, you have to remember that men are better off later on down the road. Women are better off earlier up the street. Men are better off later down the road. Women are better off earlier up the street to an extent. Now, maturation and all that, that's understood. But she is most attractive when she's younger. That is when she should be looking to find a man and stop dating men that's right around her age. A woman should be looking for a man that's 10 years older than her. That's just my opinion. The Asians practice this because you need that age gap. That whole I'm 22, I don't want a man older than 24 is retarded because you've outgrown that man immediately. If y'all went and moved in together, you are ahead of him. You're ahead of him mentally and you're ahead of him financially because a 24-year-old man, we're moving to an era now to where women are moving into the STEM fields. Women are getting hot. Women come out of college and they get jobs. Women go into nursing, they get jobs. Men don't really get those same opportunities to where they compete financially with a woman until they beyond 30 years old. They need time to develop that financial. But if she's dating a man that's 10 years older than her, he's 34, she's 24. She can have his kids. This man's in corporate America. He's making $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 a year. He's good. He's beyond all that club and all that stupidness, and he's gained a lot more patience. He's focused on his career. She's starting her career. So if it's gonna be a 2-family house or 2-income household, they can work with that. He needs to support her while she gets that education. Cool, no problem. Or she can tie in on being a wife. But when you're looking at she's 30, she's 32, she's still in school. For what? What are you in school for? Why? Just so you can have children and then stop? Because some women never go back to school once they stop. So what did you go to school and get all the student loan debt for anyway? You should really be trying to come under the protection of a man. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. I understand. Now, she made a real good point. When she's incapacitated, what about if he gets hurt? What about this and that? Okay. It could happen, but there's not a great probability that it will happen. The probability is not there, right? The probability of it happening is weak. It's not really there. But there's another thing that she said, well, if you marry a man, you marry a leader, this man should be showing you how to do everything. He should be teaching you from day one when y'all start dating. This is how you do this. If this happens, boo, this is what you need to do. This goes here. This is what I do every Thursday. Come here. Let me show you. Teach her. And then once you show her, if something did happen, she know exactly what to do. She know how you get your money. She knows everything that she needs to do. She knows her role. She knows her part. And you as the man is supposed to nail that down.
Let me I'll play devil's advocate for a little bit.
Okay.
All right. What if the pushback is, but what about growing together with your man?
What about what?
Growing together with your man, building together.
Growing together and what?
Building together, building a life together, growing together. What about that?
If you have a builder, I told you there's 2 types of women. It's 2 types of women. You got women who want it ready right now. Well, it's really 3. You got women who want you to be where you need to be right now. She's not really interested in the building. Then you got women who will build. Those are the ones who are closer to the age. There's not a lot of age gap, but that's okay because she understands that she's going to outgrow you and she loves you and she's cool. And she understands also that y'all need to sleep on a futon until you can afford a real bed. Y'all need to watch stuff on your phone together until you can get a nice TV. That's a builder. But then you got some women, they just don't want to really ever be married. And they cool with you, being a live-in until she's not cool with it no more. You see what I mean?
Well, I've had situations, when I was married where I had to step up to the plate. And it was not a problem because I was prepared for that. I was always ready, when I'm needed without any problem. My ex-husband and I, we both work, we both bring in finances, we had a joint account, I really did not have a separate account, but we did everything together financially. And when things went wrong, I knew exactly what to do. And I carried the bag until situations, get back to normal. So that was never a problem in my area. As far as women wanting men that already established, exactly what is she looking for? She's looking for a benefactor. She's not looking for somebody to build with. She's not looking for somebody to have a family with. She's looking for someone that have what she already is looking for, so she don't have to work for it. If you're in a relationship, it's a partnership. It's a joint thing. Okay, both parties take part in it. If I've never, once I've dated someone in my age group, which was like, oh my God, awful. I've dated men 20 years older than I am, and they still weren't mature to the point where I am looking for a man that's going to be a man and know how to treat a woman. I've dated men that had money and feel that because they have money, they can be disrespectful and it's okay because they have money, which I do not tolerate. So at what point do we say enough? Because I understand, because, you know, the way I understand what John is saying, that the men should be the responsible one and the men are the caregiver and all of that. But if we put all of that in the hands of the men, then we subject ourselves to a lot of things, a lot of mistreatment, a lot of disrespect. And, you know, just back in the days, men did not take care of kids. The women did.
But that's saying that, like, because a man gains, he's always going to just mistreat you.
No.
But
I'm not saying that. It's not all men that does that.
Okay, so what majority of men would you say once they make money, they just suddenly flip the switch? I can just do whatever I want to a woman. What majority of men would you say do that?
Well, I have not met too many of them because I haven't dated too many men. So I cannot say it's a large percentage. But what I'm saying is a lot of it has to do with today's society, where a lot of women, especially the young women that are looking to date older men with money and don't care as long as they get their hair done and their nails done and, you know, everything did, you know, they really don't care how they're treated. And they can walk around and say, oh, I got a man and he did this and he did that. But he's also disrespecting you and you're lowering yourself to that standard.
But again,
you know what?
That's still making an assumption that they are being mistreated. And okay, you know what? Let's just say that even if they aren't they a grown adult? Like at once, isn't like the age of, would you say after 21? Aren't they still now old enough to make a decision for themselves? Why is it that the man making the decision is bad, but this woman that is an adult is somehow not capable of being old enough to know her decision that she made to stick with this man?
Okay, as far as that question is concerned, I'm going to go back to a few shows back where you had this young lady on your show that was looking for a sugar daddy that she was just going to talk to. And then he was going to shell out all this money without her doing anything else in return except talk to him on the phone.
Okay.
Or have a good conversation. And at her age and with what she was saying, and then she keeps switching back and forth, depend on what she was being asked. She was over 21 and she didn't know what in the bloody hell she wanted. So not every woman is mature at that age. Yes, most of us are more mature, but not everyone is. So yeah. Men get credit too. I'm not saying men are not credited. They are credited. But I just feel that, you know, as far as John is concerned, I don't want somebody. I want to be in a partnership. I want somebody to be with me, one accord. I don't want to feel like I'm a lesser person because that person is bringing in the bacon. Yes, you can make more money. I can make more money. It doesn't matter. But if we're in one accord and if we're partners in what we're doing, then the sky is the limit.
You don't believe there's a leader in a relationship then, huh?
No, I don't. I feel that it's a partnership. It's a marriage or not. If you guys are together, it's a partnership. You build together, you work together. I don't have to walk behind you. I walk beside you. You know, and that's what I need, someone to walk with, not someone to follow.
I think a lot of the times that's never going to be in a woman's favor if she wants someone to walk side by side. I don't think in a majority of the time it's going to be in a woman's favor if she wants that. I think most of the time women want someone that is going to be a leader who can take charge when who can make those tough decisions. So
you don't think women are capable of making tough decisions?
Still get her input, but the final decision I think it needs to fall on him. Because a lot of times women do not want to have to make that final decision over and over and over, whereas men are perfectly capable of doing that.
Well, I've never had a problem having to make the tough decisions. I like I said, I need somebody that I can work with, and if I decide or you decide, if we decide together, I was fine with that.
Oh, I can bring it to you.
Pardon?
Mom.
John, you were saying?
Hold on, I got somebody that wants to address that. When it comes to like how the dynamic between man and woman and reasons, she can talk. She'll tell you.
Okay.
She'll do her stuff. There you go. Yeah.
Hello. Hi, y'all.
Hi.
I was just telling John that submission is something that women aren't afraid of. The only time we're afraid of submission is when a man expects us to submit, yet he's not protecting or providing, right? I just feel like for a woman to submit, you can't expect her to be vulnerable and submissive. You know, I think that's a combination that would drive anybody crazy. So I'm scared, and a lot, you know, I gotta feel protected in order to be. I just don't feel like it's possible. Do you think it's possible?
Do you think that?
And submissive?
Do you think that? You hear me? Okay, so do you think that it's a clear-cut sign what men need to do to make a woman feel protected?
What's a clear-cut sign? Like, what is a clear-cut sign?
Yeah, like what it is that men need to do to make a woman feel protected. Do you think
what a man has to do to make a woman feel protected? He has to commit to her. I mean,
stop the cap.
Doesn't have to commit to a woman for her to feel protected.
Was it what?
Like, what would a man have to do to make me feel protected and secure?
Be stable.
I mean,
oh, hold on, John. John, don't give her answers. What the hell up, man?
Oh my God, I'm back here. This is crazy.
Because I mean, I get it. I do understand what you're saying, and I completely agree. But I don't think men have a clear-cut sign on what it is that women would actually want to get to offer submission. Because women would want to get something first, i.e. protection, security, before they offer that. But women have no idea how to sell that. You know, like, hey, this is what I want.
They don't know how to.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about my brother's relationship. He just got into a relationship with a wonderful woman that he met after going on 4 dates a week for the past year, right?
Hey.
So he met a really nice girl, and I think she feels secure with him because he takes her out. He has a good job. He takes her out. He pays for dates. He's taken her to Greece just like 2 months ago. He's constantly reaching out to her and, you know, letting her feel like, you know, he's thinking about her. You know, he's invited her to live in his house. If he had his own house, he had his own house. And so she had a place to stay that was neat and nice and clean. And so she feels like he's a man who is stable, secure, and mature. You know, so to me, a good indicator that a man is like at a certain level in life and is ready for a woman is if he has his own stuff in a row. He's neat. he has a good job. He takes care of his home. He's respectful to his mother. And
we'll take the respectful to the mother part out because that's not really. Right.
Whoa.
That is important though.
That's very important because if you're disrespectful to the person that gave life to birth to you, then I don't want nothing to do with you.
Nah.
You gotta hope if you're disrespectful to your mom, I probably don't hit you.
Nah, he's okay.
When you're going to visit your mother, Clement, she might have
damage. I don't know when I'll visit my mom.
My brother isn't like the most biggest guy with the big arms and he's tall and she's really short. So I think that too has a sense of security. Someone who is bigger than you. Excuse me, huh? How tall is he? He's 6'1", and she's 4'11".
He's taller than most men, and he has more than most men. So pretty much a man needs to be kind of just not average, because the average man doesn't have all that stuff that your brother was saying.
He didn't have that before, and I think he built himself up to the point where he felt like he had the things he needed before he welcomed someone else into it.
Okay.
Can I ask how old are they?
Sure. So my brother is 35 and his girlfriend is 30.
Nice.
When did you start?
He works in IT and she is she has different hospital positions. She's not fully stable, but because he's so stable, she could work these odd jobs. She's pregnant right now. They just got pregnant. He's planning on asking for her hand in marriage on Father's Day. They're gonna go visit her father in North Carolina. He's gonna ask for her, right? And then he's also gonna surprise him and say they're also expecting. So I think he's just he knows the way to go.
If you had a son and you were telling your son how to properly how to make a woman feel protected, what would you be telling him?
I would say for him to be secure in himself first.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
That's vague.
Have a good
That is
job.
vague.
Have a good job in a good trade that's secure. Have a place to lay your head that's clean and welcoming for any woman to enter and feel like she's not going to be exposed to who knows what. And just be someone who's very respectful towards women. He takes her out, they go out to eat, she gets dressed up, he'll plan vacations for them, and she just feels like a queen and she'll do anything for him. She is definitely submitted to him. She cleans the house when he's at work. She cooks when he's hungry. She talks to us. My mother loves her. It's just it was really a match made in heaven. And
now,
I'm happy for him.
And I'll ask this to the ladies on the panel too. What would a woman need to do to make herself look like a marriageable option?
Okay. So, what would a woman need to do to look like a marriageable option? Well, I'm trying to think of Kelsey because I know I have a daughter. I'm not even daughter. So I feel like I'm looking for someone, but I'm also trying to protect my daughter. So I'm taking it in steps, and I'm trying to make sure my ducks are lined up on too before I welcome someone else into my space. So but I would say marriageable, you open and spiritual. Willing to do what you can for the person you're with. having good conversations. I don't know. I really don't know. You gotta present yourself well too. Be friendly and.
The man was like, yo, he need to be 6'1". He gotta have his house. He gotta have his car. He gotta have his bill paid. Keep clean. You better have a 6-pack, maybe a 4-pack. But the woman is like, yeah, you know, just kind of know how to talk real nice.
Well, I mean, when I think of Kelsey, she's from the South. She's friendly. She's funny. She's sweet. You know, we talk about hair. We talk about baking and for my brother's girlfriend, baking the food. I mean, I think you just have to be personable and not come off like as if, you know, you're stern and you're like, we trying to be like, so what you got? No, it's like, you know, what can we have together? You know, it's not about what you bring to the table, but it's about what we can have together. You know, building.
You are a builder. Okay. You're a builder.
She sounds very feminine.
I told you, there's 4 types of three different types of women.
Fall under femininity.
Say that again.
She sounds very femininity. Yeah. All those things that she listed fall under femininity, and that's what men look for. They're looking for. I just had my lesson on Thursday, so it's like collaborative, charming, surrendering, teachable, flexible. There's a few more that are escaping me. Friendly, sweet, open, vulnerable, all those things. Men are looking for that softness, right? She said that she's not stern. You know, the men are the aggressive ones, right? The women aren't supposed to. You're supposed to compliment that. Just give it softer. That's what this young lady, Miss Kelsey, sounds like. So them.
Hold it down for me. Got me?
Okay. Got me? Yeah. This is a good conversation. It's a good, you know, because you're out here trying to find that person that can make us feel that way. In addition to how we feel about ourselves, you gotta feel good about yourself too. And I think that's important. You have to look in the mirror and feel like you're a catch and actually believe it. I mean, no one's perfect, but you gotta feel like you're good enough to attract what you're looking for.
Do you think that in this day and age we focus so much on self-love that we never actually focus on how to make someone else happy, or how to bring to someone else happiness?
Self-love can get carried away.
Yeah.
You do want to love yourself. But you don't want to love yourself to the point where you're arrogant, or you're conceited. You want to love yourself enough to feel like you can compliment someone else, and someone else can compliment you. It's not a competition. I've been in relationships where men are in love with themselves. I'm talking about, I got to work on my 6-pack and I'm 38. You know, it's you don't need to work on a 6-pack today. You don't have to, you know, do the 80 push-ups today.
Why not?
You know you love yourself. You've done the work.
Let them know, Danielle. Why not?
Why not?
Like, you've done the work.
6-pack of kids of 24.
You said what happened?
Huh?
You were saying that he 38 and he doing push-ups every day and he don't need to. I said, why not?
He can if he wants to, if it makes him feel good about himself, but it gets to a certain point where it translates to conceitedness. It can translate to self-absorption. It can translate to, you know.
So it's not necessarily that he want to work out; it's how he act because he works out.
I'm talking about my personal experiences with my
Right.
daughter's father. He felt like he was God's gift. He was very physically fit. He was like Mr. Star football player. He's Mr. I've been with over 100 women. You're just lucky to be sitting here as Miss 101. You know, so he had a sense of entitlement around his physique and his appearance. And so I didn't feel secure with him. Obviously, I didn't feel protected with him. I felt very vulnerable. Like at any point, he could just see someone better and who matches his conceitedness. Right?
So you're not very fit. You don't go to the gym like that.
I'm decent. I'm not a workout fanatic. I'm not overweight. I think I'm on one of my like 36,
You look like you're in pretty good shape.
30, 40. I don't think I'm like out of shape.
Listen,
No,
hold on.
I don't mean your physique. I don't
This
mean your
one's for you.
physique. I don't
This
mean your
one's for you.
physique because I'm looking at you, and I mean I see that you have a nice shape. I mean, but if a person is like 38 and he's working out, that means physical fitness is important to him. So I was just wondering if you are physically fit, because if you're not as into the physical fitness, it's not even so much that he feels arrogant, but so much more that since you're not as physically fit into that just what you said, that you feel like he could find somebody better. And I think that perhaps feeling that way made you feel a way about how he spoke about himself, because he wasn't making you feel inferior. The fact that you just wasn't into that to boost yourself up, to make yourself look better, for you to feel better, made you feel inferior.
Well, we connected on a physical level, but what we really connected on was like on a business level, because he had a fashion branding company and I'm an artist, you know, so that's how we really connected, you know, and it just turned into more of he started to brag a little bit about his escapades and his prowess, and it was like, can we? Like, I feel good about myself. I know how to carry myself. But if it's gonna be all about physical attraction, I can meet you there. But at the same time, he needs to understand he's 5'7". You know, it's like what? I'm 5'7", guys. You know,
Oh, shut
I can look you dead in your eyes.
Wait.
You know.
Wait. Dial it back. Let's bring it back. My man was 5'7".
You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sit that wine, Chris.
He's like, well, if I was only 3 inches taller, well, you know, if I was you're not. So
When he said, "Hey, baby,"
let's go from there.
where you go?
It's like, can I talk up to you for a minute?
His confidence was too tall for his height.
It sure is. It was to the point where I used to wear heels when I first met him all the time. And then I realized, I was like, I'm gonna have to like hang these up. I'm gonna have to just like
Just hanging
put
on.
these in the back of the closet.
Okay. Well, in that scenario, okay. So in that case, you do a lot more making up for his lack of height. Not a, like, but
Like,
it,
those
that's
6
still an
packs ain't gonna make
insecurity in
you go
himself,
3 inches.
You know.
All right.
He's focusing on the thing that he can control that can make him feel better about himself instead of his height.
I think that's a good thing, is it not? I missed what you said, Clement.
Say that again.
I think that's a good thing, is it not? I missed what you said.
That he's insecure about his height.
And then so he's working out to make up for it, to
Correct.
boost his confidence.
Correct.
I think it's good to try and boost your confidence in other areas. If you're insecure about it, you can't change that. So if there's something that makes you feel good about your body, I think you should do it. And he's doing it naturally, right? It's not like he's getting fake abs put in.
Yeah, that's true.
He's working out. He's boosting testosterone. I kind of go back to what Danielle said. I do think that when our men start to look really good, we start to look at ourselves like, he could do better because I'm not that dedicated. I'm not that disciplined.
Emotional damage.
It's harsh to say, but I think we experience it. You know, they're doing well, they look good, and we think, huh, other women also want him because he looks good. And if a woman comes across and she wants him, she likes how he looks, and she could potentially be better than me, right? If we think that we're not as good, it's gonna cause some insecurities. Not saying that's your case. I never got your name, but I do think that it's very likely.
Right.
What
what's
was your name?
Well, for me to get him?
No. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Jody.
Jody.
Oh, okay.
Jody, welcome to the panel. Could you do me a favor, Jody?
He was a smoker. He was also a heavy smoker. I don't know if that has anything to do with things, but
Jody.
his maturity level was kind of like still stuck in like 19-year-old, 20-year-old kind of place.
You're the
His
same
height
age.
was also stuck there too. Could you do me a favor? When you're done talking, could you mute just because a lot of
Sure.
when you want to talk, of course, unmute. Unmute whenever you want to talk. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, the relationship didn't work.
Okay.
I thought I was fine. I thought I dressed really nice. He always complimented my body. He would be like, "You don't have to work out." He would tell me that I don't have to work out. He's like, "You have the perfect figure. Don't
It's not
work
about
out."
what he said though. It's about how you felt. Even when you was explaining it, you said, because he might find someone better.
Mm-hmm.
And that came from yourself.
Trainer. And he was also a personal trainer. And I would say to him, "Why don't we go out and work out together?" And he's like, "No, he didn't want to train me." I'm like, "You don't want me to have like the 48-inch booty? You sure? You know, because I can get there." He's like, "No.
So you know what? So you know, hold on, Luke mine. So you know what? I don't know what his reasoning is, right? And I don't know him. But me myself, I'm a nurse. I have a husband. I like big guys. So he has diabetes. Now, when I first met him, his diabetes wasn't too full blown. I was like, yo, if you just lose a couple of pounds, you can get off of that pill. Because if you go the way you're going, you're going to eventually end up on insulin. He ended up on the insulin because he didn't listen. Now, when I initially started dating him, having this knowledge, I felt so frustrated, almost to the point of resentment. I had to tell myself, like, hey, this is his body. Even though you love him, he has to love himself, you know? And perhaps him being a physical trainer, I've dated men who are fit and tried to have them train me. It did not work out because I don't want you drill sergeanting me, but that's how they do their job, and that is their job. But it's like, but I'm your woman. You're supposed to be tender with me. But he'd be like, no, like that's not what you are right now. And I think sometimes we could have a problem like blurring those lines. Did we take that home and he trying to get some pussy and you like, you was making me do squats. I can't even open my legs. They noodles. Like, get away from me, you know? So, I mean, I don't know what his reasoning is. I be just trying to always look to, like, give somebody the benefit of the doubt or try to see it from their side. So, you know, I wanted to choke my husband. I had told my husband, like, don't, when he went to the hospital, like, don't be telling people I'm a nurse. Like, you making me look like a bad nurse, yo.
When you want to speak, just raise your finger real quick, and I can unmute you much faster. Okay. Unique, how you doing? I haven't heard you over there in a while.
Just listening.
Just listening, loving it.
Mm-hmm. It's the question. If that's what. Okay, new question.
Yeah, new question. New question to the panel. Do men have any standards when it comes to choosing a wife? Do men have any standards when it comes to choosing? What do you guys think it is?
The only standard that I see is how they look.
That's the only standard you think?
That's the only standard I see with most men. If they look good, they can change everything else, or they can try to accommodate everything else. Men are like more visual creatures, so a lot of times they'll get hooked on the looks more than trying to really know what's going on with the person. Now that's not everybody, but that's just my opinion and most men.
Okay. So then you think predominantly men just care about looks?
That's the beginning. That's what's gonna get them there.
Okay.
Now they may find out later on that they may not really match with them later, but that's what's gonna hook them. That's their first standard. How they look.
Go ahead.
That question you just asked me, right? You was 5'7", or was that from before? Let me answer that now.
Which one? The 5'7" one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's someone in the chat. Yeah. That's
Okay.
CJ. Shout out to you, CJ.
Well, he had a very, really strong personality, like a really manly man's personality. My daughter's father was 5'7". He was 5'7", but his voice was so boisterous. He was very bombastic, and he would enter a room and he's like loud. He owned it. Dark skin, brown eyes, 5'7". 50 Cent, Chris Paul combination looking at. But it was just like, and I felt like I matched him.
Oh yeah.
But he was very much like out there. Maybe I wasn't as outgoing as he was. Maybe I wasn't as like wanting to be the center of the room as he wanted to be. And maybe that's where our personalities just didn't clash. I was more of the, I could just look good in the background. I'm okay with it. I get attention in my own way. I don't need to like demand the attention of everyone in the room. I'm not that like, I don't like that much attention. Whereas he did. You know, he'll be on the basketball court and he's loud and he's throwing the ball across the court. Come on, man. Come on. He's yelling at people. And I'm like, his personality was just very, very high testosterone. And I think that made me feel insecure. It was like,
that attracted you,
man, because I'm attracted to him. I don't know him, but everything you saying, I'm like, man, that sounds good.
Yes.
Sounds like all those features, hold on, I'm gonna mute you now. All those features were the same thing that attracted you, but then you wanted him to somehow change all that when you got with him?
You sound like Napoleon.
All that. It was his lifestyle that made me wanna like get out of the relationship. I'm the kind of person, I'm a woman's woman. I'm cleaning the house. I'm decorating. I'm making it a warm, nice, good smelling space. I am all woman in that house. Okay, I'm cooking. That's me. But he would come back and be like, "Yo, this will be him. This will be him," because he will be struggling financially. All right, you'll be the type to be like, okay, we'll get $5 gas and use this other $2 to put on like $5 of bud. You gonna put 50 cents on the roller? It was like that, and I was like,
but he was short and broke.
He's gonna put $1 for broke. He's gonna put $2 for the week. I was like, wait, but I work in Queens. I go to Queens for work. He's over here trying to run the business from home. Not making no money, I'm paying the rent. Like, I did so much to help him while he was trying to build this business that he promised me, I'm gonna be a millionaire. You wanna leave before I become a millionaire, that's on you. And I'm like, but I'm an artist and you wanted this fashion business and I wanted to be great, so here's $1,000 for the fashion show. And that's me, just giving and giving and giving.
Oh,
and
hell no!
Taking and taking. And I was
girl, what the fuck was wrong with you?
Listen, I was being supportive.
That wasn't supportive. That was gullible.
I know it sounds super dumb. I know it does.
Damn.
But
I didn't want to call you the D word, baby. That's because I chose the D word. But
in hindsight, it looks dumb. But I also was fully invested in his dream because it felt like it was a part of my dream. Because
he gotta fully invest in his dream before you can invest a penny.
Wait, hold on.
Like I said, it was a part of my dream too, to be a designer. I was helping to cultivate these artists. I was like part of the board. I was
Hold on, Jody. Hold on a second. Chris, you want to say something?
That was textbook. It was absolutely
Wow.
So I watched this video by a psychologist, and he was saying that women, one thing that they do is they give and they give and they give, and through giving, it releases oxytocin, and they deplete their oxytocin, and they don't know how to refill it. Like they don't know how to make sure that they're also receiving. Like they don't demand it. And then they get tired and they get resentful. And on top of that, you're paying for everything. So you're paying for this man to live. You're giving him everything. You're not getting anything in return. And then you get overwhelmed, you get depressed, and you leave. That's why women wait until the men are established before they're with them. Because your words mean nothing. Do it. And then go look for a young lady. And women need to also require that as well. I'm assuming you were like 18 or 19. I think you said you were like 19, 20 when you were with him. You were older than 19, 20?
I met him when I was 24. Now he paid me back. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I was a stay-at-home mom for 2 years. He paid all the bills. He was making like $8,000 a month. He bought me a car. I was living like he paid me back. I was like, this is great. I don't gotta work. He bought me a car. He got a car. I got a car. It was great. He's making $12,000 a month sometimes. But he was also never home. Oh, I gotta go play flag football on Saturday. I'm gonna sleep over at Stacey's house, so I'm not coming back till Sunday. Oh, and I'll take the car to mechanic, pick up my dry cleaning, and then you got stuff at the grocery store, right? And then it was just like you're never home.
That's what it
I'm comfortable. I got the money, I got the baby, I got the car, but he's not here.
So would you prefer broke 5'7" or would you prefer rich 5'7"?
I prefer just having my own money, and if I'm gonna be alone most of the time anyway, then I might as well be alone.
It's better without him. My life will be better without the man. Life is brighter with him gone.
So how would that change the dynamic was different? To where you're not alone all the time.
If I wasn't alone all the time, I would still be there with him. Granted, he's a heavy weed smoker, and I grew out of that. He's still in that state. He's still the blunt guts on the coffee table. And it's like, when were you gonna grow up a little bit? Like clean your stuff up. Go outside and smoke. Like, at some point, you gotta get to a level where you're like, listen, I don't really do that anymore. And if I do, I'm gonna be a big boy and clean up after myself. Right?
Okay. Hold on. Let's get CJ on here. Jody, I'm gonna mute you real quick, okay?
Sure.
CJ, how you doing, man? You muted, buddy. Or I don't hear you actually. Oh, technical difficulties? Dang. The high value nerd's getting some technical. Man. All right, I'm gonna give you a quick minute. Chris, will you say something before?
I was going to, but I forgot it. But I was basically just saying that goes back to our point earlier, where it's like he's in the way, right? Like, my life is either the same or better if he's not here. And that's what we see a lot in the media as well. But it's like, again, going back to that, you want a high value man and it requires them to work and they have to be gone a lot. Now it's different if he has extracurricular activities on the side and he's choosing those over you. But if his job requires him to work a lot in order for him to make that income, which one are you looking for? Do you want him to be broke again or do you want him to make the money? And then also, are you speaking up and saying, hey, I need time? I think we talked about this as well. Are you speaking up and saying, I need more time with you? And if you're not, you just expect him to know it because, men should just know that you will read your mind. Like, there are so many, like, different things we don't know, obviously, but we hear this all the time, over and over again. And I don't think that a lot of women think about what they did or didn't do when they're in those situations. And half the time, I do think that they have a lot of responsibility as well.
Okay. CJ, is it working now? No. Okay. I think he's gonna leave and come back. All right. Moving on to the questions of the panel, because I think we veered off because of CJ's question. Do men have any standards when it comes to choosing a wife? Unique said she's gotta have a fat ass though. And that's about it.
What did he say?
That was Unique, not me. I was just reiterating, okay?
Wait, what did he say?
He's gotta have fat ass though. That's about it, right? No,
it's the look. It's the looks that's the first standard for a man.
But do you think that's the only thing?
Not the only standard, but that's the one that's going to get a man.
I have another story to tell.
Do men have any standard when it comes to
choosing your wife? Let me tell you something. The woman that he got after me, because I literally traded that man like he was like a $5. Like, because I guess he does like to have a certain type, and I wish he said something from the beginning. I guess he likes some light skin and thick. So I'm like, so I wish you just got with that before you wasted my time. But he was with a girl like that. But what did she do? She slept with 3 of his friends. One was on Valentine's Day.
Ouch.
One was he flew her out to LA for a business conference, and she fucked one of his friends in the bathroom stall. That was friend number 2.
Classy.
Friend number 3, who was that? Oh, that was Mike. She was Mike's side piece for 8 years.
Ouch.
This is the one that has a fat ass.
So that was Mike's
This
girl.
is the one though, that he said that was his high school sweetheart, and her father was his football coach, and her brother smokes weed with him, and even though she has sex with 3 of his friends and he knows it, he still wants her. I said she is perfect for you. Matter of fact, let me call her.
Mm-hmm.
You want to? Matter of fact, why don't you come over? Why don't you all just have like a little dinner? Matter of fact, here's my key. I need you to babysit on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. I said, you're not gonna be no sister wives, but I'm putting you into the transition schedule. So once I'm out, you gonna stay, right? And that's basically how I put it. I literally traded him off like, okay, I'm leaving on Saturday. Here's the key. All right. It was nice meeting you. Dude, I said, you're gonna be with the girl who fucked your best friend on Valentine's Day. If you're gonna be with the girl who fucked your other friend in the bathroom school on a trip to Vegas that you paid for, and she used to strip. And he used to take her money and pay child support on her. Listen, I said, you want to come back to this? Be my guest. I'm gonna just put you on child support, get my money on the regular, and you gonna just y'all gonna be happily ever after, right? Don't forget to call Darnell and invite him to the wedding.
Like I said,
I still didn't hear you, CJ. Dang, bro.
Hey, hold up. CJ is unmuted. What happened? Wait, pull him back up.
No. He's having mic issues right now. Yeah. He was the one that actually dropped. He was the one that dropped the question.
You know that K2 stuff, that fake weed stuff? She used to smoke K2.
No show.
Oh my God. She got arrested for selling cocaine. She
didn't have any standards when choosing a wife.
I was like,
I'm sorry. There's a lot of background.
Muted when other people talk.
Do men have any standards when it comes to choosing a wife?
I do believe men have standards because I personally feel that a man is going to sleep with anybody that give him the opportunity. But when it comes to choosing a wife, he look for somebody that is educated, that he can have a conversation with, somebody that can manage finances, somebody that portray herself as a lady, not only behind closed doors, but also in public. Somebody that give him the impression or make him feel that this person is going to be a good mother, a good parent when it comes to raising a family. Someone that loves him and cherish him and treat him like he's the best damn thing since sliced bread and toast the oven. Right? It's not, and if she looks good, that's a plus. But men that marry women that look good because they're expecting all these qualities are shortchanging themselves. A lot of times, the women that they find to be least desirable are the ones they're going to end up marrying because these are the qualities that these women have. The parent, the dedicated wife, the loyal wife, you know, and stuff like that. Not that woman that's going to want attention every time she goes out. You know, not that woman that's going to be hanging out with her friends when her children are at home, you know, and there's homework to be done. You know, yes, you know, I'm not that. I personally put the person and the people in my life ahead of me, and I give them all that love that I look for them to return to me, because that's where the happiness in me comes from. But men need women that are respectful, educated, and loyal, and treat them like they're kings.
That's pretty good. That was pretty good. You know what? That's good. CJ.
Thank
you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What's going on, what's good, John? What's going on? Man, very, very good show. Some interesting topics. I wanted to address, I'm gonna answer this question. I just wanted to address what Chris said when they said they're good with or without them. I think it might be smart to start investing in homeless shelters within the near future, because you're gonna start seeing a whole lot of homelessness out here. I've already started to see it. And it's getting sad, you know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing, like, and especially in this field that I work in, I see all these older women who were okay with who didn't care if they needed a man or not, bodies breaking down and not knowing what they're going to do in the next 10 to 15 years and everything like that, and relying on government set-asides to keep them afloat. I just think it might be smart to start investing in homeless shelters, because the rise in homelessness that you're about to see, you ain't seen nothing yet. Gas just hit $5 here. You did?
Just $5?
Yeah.
Bruh, we're going
I mean, if they never took their education serious enough and secured a job, then I'm sorry to hear that. But I personally, I've had my issues where I didn't want to be with my daughter's father, and I didn't want to be at my mother's house. So I chose to go to a shelter. And let me tell you something. When I got there, I was happy as hell. Okay? I drove there in a car.
In a shelter?
I drove to the homeless shelter in a car.
That's what she said.
We pulled my shit like a month later. My mother gave me her Benz like in the meantime. I was driving to the homeless shelter in a Benz. Okay? My shit, I had a walk-in closet. I had laundry. We were living like I got a job like 3 months later. I was making like more than my counselor there. They hated me there. They was like, "Bitch, if you don't leave for tomorrow."
Now you see why that's a smart investment?
Jody, real quick. Now, that's good now. Now imagine 60, 70 years old. Now would that still be as lovely? Would that still be nice? Would that still
But
be
you said if they're 60 and 70 years old doing that?
yes? 50, 60, 70 years old now, you know? Like the homeless shelters are a lot more for, like CJ saying, he's a high value nurse. He actually has a YouTube channel as well. Danielle, both him, they're very cool people, always saving lives. You guys are great people. But they constantly actually, you know what, CJ, you
What? Can't hear you.
I think you have to hear the background noise.
Yep.
You were going in and out, Clement.
Go ahead. You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. But what were you saying? Like you were going.
No, I was saying for you to explain your point about the women in the homeless shelters.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not going to just be women. It's going to be a good amount of men there too. But I talk to females every day that say they wish they had a man. They wish they didn't have to tackle all these things alone, because when you turn 60 and 50 and 48, your body is not the same way it was at 22, at 23, and at 24. Now, if women want to die on that hill, that's cool. I have no problem with it, because, Lord willing, me and mine's going to be straight. But I just think it is sad because the older women are teaching this to the younger women, and they are falling into a great trap of nothingness. And I think it's really sad. And men are starting to become cold. Men are like, cool, you don't want us like that? We'll just use you for entertainment. We'll use you for physical pleasure and send you about your way. Don't depend on me for my resources, for my assets, none of that. Because you can take you and whatever you got, that baggage, that drama, all that stuff, keep it over there. Because you said you were okay with not having a man. I was not a priority to you. Cool. And I'm not talking about nobody personal, but I'm just telling you what I hear in general. This is what a lot of millennial men and Gen Z, they worse.
They're animals.
They are. You think, oh God, they demonic. They really don't care. So I think it's funny, honestly, because like I said, I've seen, like, I'm old enough to remember the 90s movement about the download, man. I'm old enough to remember the N-words ain't ish movement. And I'm old enough to remember to see all that stuff. And people think that's just music and it's just entertainment, but that affects people's psyche. So you have those men that do become high value men, just like the gentleman that she mentioned before. He has options, a lot of options. I'm sure he makes great money. He's a businessman. So in reality, he has his pick of the litter. So whether she stays or not, it does not matter. He still has his options and he still has his career. He can do as he pleases. Now, a lot of women are not happy with that. And I think it was I'm happy she was honest about how she felt, because that is the truth. When a man does look good, when he is in shape, when his business is right, when his health is in order, there is no wall for a man like that. It does not exist. It doesn't exist. So, yeah, it's interesting to see in firsthand, in real time.
He may, but he has 3 kids by 3 different women. So, he may not tell the next woman that. He may keep that to himself, whereas a woman can't.
Hey, Jody.
Hide that.
Jody, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you stay close to the mic, because when you go far away.
So he has 3 kids by 3 different women. And granted, he doesn't have to tell the next woman that, but that's not something women can hide. You guys know that. A woman can't hide the fact that she has 3 kids. But a man could definitely not tell you nothing at all. And so, with that being said, women do have the harder position. They are in the more difficult position. They can't hide that they got to figure out where to send their child for daycare and clothes they got to buy. They can't hide it. Babysitting.
So how do you all receive a man when he's forthcoming?
When a man is forthcoming,
Yeah.
women are very, I don't want to say the word defensive, but once you've gone through some kind of pain like that and you have a child, your defense is a little bit higher up, right? And men don't want you to be that defensive because they want to be able to meet you and get to know you and so on and so forth. So it is some kind of trauma that women have to break down, in order to let someone in again.
One
I
thing
have a
that I've
question.
noticed. Oh, sorry.
Okay, I have a question. These women, I'm not directing this toward the men that's ended up in the shelter, but towards the women who are ending up in the shelter at, in their older ages because, they don't have that man to lean on or whatever the case is. Could it be that in the younger years, they look at the man to provide everything and they did not worry to, build something for themselves where they will have something to fall back on if they do end up by themselves in this case? Because if they were I feel if they were working on building themselves and securing their finances, even if that relationship failed, they would be in a position where they can take care of themselves and not end up into the position where they end up in a shelter.
Well, I'm a firm believer in you are what you attract. That is why it's important to work on yourself. If you are somebody that has put in the work to make yourself the best version of you, inevitably you will attract somebody who is thorough. That is the law of attraction. So with that being said, and I understand things do happen, but if you have a thorough man, he will never allow you to get in a position like that to begin with. The problem is a lot of these women are scared to even deal with a man and rely on a man to even lead them because they don't want to be seen as walking behind him. They want to be side by side. Men of power, men of value, don't need you to walk side by side with them. They need you to listen. They will take what you say into consideration, and if it's a good suggestion, then they will apply it. But this whole competition, this whole debating, they're not going to do it. They're going to let you go to the shelter and be by yourself.
Just to interject here. Hello, as a woman, I'm meant to be behind you so that way I can lift you up when you
gotta speak closer to it.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm meant to be behind you, so if you know that's what you're saying, I'm there, I have your back to lift you up.
I agree with that.
I agree. If a woman makes her own money, and if the man leaves her, she won't have to worry about going to a shelter because she got her own money. But I think where CJ's might be coming from is that you can make and work and have your own money, but eventually you're gonna get old where you don't want to keep working.
And let's keep it real.
You're gonna get in your 50s and 60s, and you can have money saved up, but for real, I don't know how to. I'm not a finance person, so I'm not a person that can save up money that well. So it's kind of like, yes, you could have that money. Yes, you could have that retirement that you're supposed to be coming in, but it might not even last long enough. And if you ain't got us a man that's going to actually put in the work for you past your 60s and 70s, then you might end up in a nursing home or whatever, a homeless shelter. Even if you had a good job and saved some money, it might not last.
Simon, I want to get you. Sorry. Unique, you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Simon, if you're still there, I want to get your word on this because you've been sitting there patiently. Thanks for coming up, my man.
Hi, you all right? Sorry, can you pose the question back to me just so I can get a...
Yeah, of course. Right now we're on, do men have any standards when it comes to choosing a wife?
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I chose my wife already. So my standards were based on what fitted with my life, my environment, what's going on. Just typically. I mean, I think the thing is like sometimes we can overdo this stuff. Like we can overthink this stuff. My wife walked into the door and I knew it. She was just my wife. Yeah, it's like I you know, you've been through so many relationships already. And you know when relationships are just relationships, or you're just trying to do something, or just trying to get to, you know, lay someone down. When this woman walked into my life, I saw her, and that was it. And I, you know, for me, it was like I just had this position where it's like I'm only getting married once. So it was like it was a bit odd that the woman that walked into my life made that happen. I'm quite godly, so it's like I don't know if it was something spiritual. I don't know if it was something else, but even to this day, like I know, like I went through a 10-year marriage and that, like, was divorced, but she's still that person. I can't see anyone else filling that position.
Really?
I can't. I mean, it's hard, man. Like, I do get calls, but I'm just saying, like, I don't see anyone else filling that position. It's really hard, and she annoys me as hell. Like, she's really annoying. Like, but it's like I really don't know what to do. And sometimes, like, when we are in these positions, it's like that the only thing to do is like sort of talk to people, because it's like I don't know what to do. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like I ain't with her, she ain't with me. What am I supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to, like, go out on the dating scene?
Yes. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Okay, so I've got a child with her, right? So I'm supposed to go out on the dating scene. I bring another woman to my house. How does that work?
You can slow things down a little bit. Like, how long you been dating this person before you bring them to your house? I think
child, yeah.
I haven't actually dated anybody since the marriage, but
Do
I'm
you
just
know
saying, like, I don't know how that works.
Do you know anyone that's divorced and remarried with children successfully? Maybe they would have advice. But I think it does take
I have no one that I've spoken to that can tell me that stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know?
My mom, but she's not a man, you know.
Say that again, Jody.
No, not like parents and stuff. I mean, like, people, like friends and stuff. Not like, you know, I think, like, when you speak to parents is a different thing. But
yeah,
people that you actually know that may have gone through or may have had an experience where they have had a relationship for years. Like, I had a decade of a relationship, right? So can anyone cooperate with that? It's difficult.
Wait, I'm confused. What you're saying? Someone new cannot come into your life because
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's a possibility, but the chances of finding someone who actually understands what a relationship is in comparison to what I've experienced is difficult. So it's like I've gone through a 10-year marriage versus, okay, let's say I meet a 24-year-old.
Okay.
Who's never had, like, you know, she might have 6 months, 8 months, maybe even 2 years they don't really understand what a relationship is. They don't even understand what a marriage is. They don't understand what living with someone is.
I gotta push back on that, man.
Maybe.
I think because I mean, listen, I get what you're saying. Where my viewpoint differs is that I think anyone who's ready to make that commitment, that's all that matters. If you're gonna say I'm going to stick this out no matter what with this person, that's all you ever need. Like
I'd love to find that person.
The hardest part about most relationships is being vulnerable enough to have uncomfortable conversations. Once you guys are able to have that over and over and over, that's really what a relationship is. Having those uncomfortable conversations, constantly keep relearning each other over and over. If you're able to do that with someone, why wouldn't you be able to just live the rest of your lives together?
I agree. I totally agree.
Well,
if I turn around to like how many women are on this panel? 1, 2, 3, 4. If I turn around to each one of them and said, "Look, I'm a single father. I just went through a divorce," and if they were single and they weren't attached to anybody, their response would be what?
Can I hold on before the women jump in? No. I want to just throw in something that I think you're not, because you're looking at it and still like, oh, this is all the negatives that I'm coming with. You are someone that made a commitment, which is not a lot of men out here are willing to get married. You've made that commitment, which means you could do it again. You're fertile because you've already had a kid. So that's something like, if they don't want a kid, okay, you got that out of the way. If you do want a kid, okay, you could have kids. And when that woman comes in your life, she's probably going to want to have a kid again. You're able to take care of somebody else outside of yourself. So that means you're not selfish. Like, these are all positives. But again, I have the women explain.
Okay, so as the fifth woman on the panel, I would say if a man approached me at this point and said, if he's going through a divorce, but he's not quite divorced yet, if I am interested in him, I would say, you know what? Let's be friends right now, and I'll wait for you to go through your process. Because there are situations where I'm going through a divorce, it's complicated, and then the divorce never happened, and both parties is just hanging there in limbo. And not only that, you have to make sure it's not only about you, you have to make sure that person that you're trying to form a relationship with is going to be a good role model for your child. Okay, and you're going to have to make it known to your ex at that point that this person is going to be in my life and we're going to have a mutual, respectful relationship because there's a child involved. So you don't bring drama. She's going to love that child in your absence. You're still going to be the mother. But I'm no longer in a relationship with you. This is the person in my life, and that is to be respected. But until you're 100% divorced, I would not recommend that you date somebody, because that person is going to have expectations. And once that falls through, it will create problems.
Tack Williams, what's up, my man?
What's good, man? How you doing?
Fantastic.
Shout out to everybody on the panel. Yep. How y'all be?
What did you hear about the conversation so far? What do you want to chime in, my man?
Oh, I was just catching bits and pieces, man. I just came from having dinner with one of my exes, man. It was all good. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Had a nice time. Huh?
Let me throw this question at you then, the one that we've been talking about on the panel. Do men have any standards when it comes to choosing a wife?
Well, I've never been married, right? But I've been in like committed relationships. One of them lasted over like 8 years, close to 10 years or something like that. But I've been in a few, right? But so I'm not qualified as a husband, but as a man in a committed relationship where, it was real. There was some standards. I think there always are some standards on both sides, women and men, right? Like for me, some of the initial standards, they wane off when I get closer to the commitment part, right? So like generally how I move is you ain't gonna get really the truth out of me the way that you say you want it until my lower self, my carnal desires are pretty much satisfied. And then, you know, I can give you a peek at that open book if that's what you want. But until then, I'm just going to interview well. I'm going to interview real well, right? But then once we get to that space where I really am sensing that I care about you and that I'm feeling like it's reciprocated organically, then I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to kind of open up. I'm going to share with you because now it's almost like I look for reasons to give. I look for reasons to pour in to this relationship that's building. And so at this point, I'm not selfish Eddie anymore. I'm like, you know, maybe let me share this with you, or what do you think about this? Different things like that. That's when that physical side of it, that initial attraction kind of wanes off. It's no longer the number one. So initially it might be, she looks desirable to me, because a lot of this beauty outside of the commercialism of it is subjective. It's what's beautiful to you. So on one woman, I might be crazy about her hips and her legs. And on the next woman, it's her lips and her breasts. Some women, it's their complexion, right? So it's like this one girl I was with, no guy would probably rate her as like, you know, looking so gorgeous, but she was so feminine, man. It was like dating a flamingo or something, you know what I mean? But anyway, like once I get in it where I cared about these women, then that superficial part, that looks, it wears off. It's like, that's not why I'm going to stay, and it's probably not why I'm going to leave you. So I would say I start looking for content. I need cerebral stimulation. Like if you cannot make me, if I don't enjoy interacting with you, what's going to happen is I'm going to be physical with you, and we're going to do the surface level stuff, whether I'm a provider or not, and I'm going to run into a female on the street that's going to provide that cerebral stimulation, because that's what it is for me. And for me, that's what it is because I don't have insecurities about dating a cutie, dating a fine woman, because I had them as a shorty. So there's nothing. They all around here, from the projects to the penthouse, right? There's nothing special about that. It's just that a lot of women think they so special. So you can get that. But dudes that might have an insecurity about that because they got ignored as a kid coming up through school or in the hood, then their thing might be the looks. That might be their latch and key, and they don't want to shake loose of that. So ain't nobody got time for that. So it depends on the man a lot. But like for me, it's going to be substance based. That's going to be my standard. That initial thing that get me there though might appear to be the looks. But to keep me there, that's standard.
Initially looks.
Initially looks. I like that answer. That was very thorough. I want to go back to the ladies of the panel though. Answering what Simon said. He said he is Simon, could you reiterate yourself again, please? If you're still there.
Sorry, what did you say?
Could you reiterate yourself on what it was that you asked the ladies to the panel?
Sorry, I just missed a bit because I had to take care of something, but
no worries. I'll brief you on what you said. You said that you're a guy out here. If you were coming out right now, what would the ladies think of a guy like in your position who was married for 10 years, divorced, and with a kid? What would the ladies on the panel think of a man like that?
Yeah. So
I'm just shooting at the ladies on the panel to see what they would say.
Yeah.
So he's already divorced.
He's speaking. Yeah. I'm
You're already divorced.
Yeah, it's 10 years. 10 years marriage, which was cool. And I still, like, I don't have any problems with her. Like, I divorced her. So, but yeah, there's a lot of context to that, which is something that's not really discussed on panels, like, you know.
Okay. But wrapping it up to the question, that's what you wanted to ask the ladies on the panel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How would you feel? How would you feel like, sort of like, if you sort of stepped to a guy that was like in a marriage for a certain amount of time, and he had a child? Because why I asked that was because there's a lot of women out there that are, I don't know, like, you want to coin the phrase baby mothers, but you know, they've been through some sort of stuff, they've had their children, but they're still seeking out a partner.
Okay.
So how do they
I think
feel about that?
Unique wanted to tackle that.
I'm gonna pause.
Okay, so the question, I guess, is how would a woman feel if he approached them being a single dad and divorced? I don't think that's a problem at all, in my opinion. When I met my husband, I didn't have any children. He had 3, divorced, and a baby mother. So it depends on what that woman is looking for. To me, it just said that, okay, he's willing, because he was divorced before or married before, it said to me, okay, he can make a commitment. Yeah, he was married before. He's not married now. This is something, you know, whatever happened, and you're only going to really get one side of it, so you're never going to know the whole truth. But this person actually went that far and made a commitment and married somebody. So it's, in my mind, he would do it for me too. If I'm the person that, you know, he loves and wants to be with. So the other thing is, not really introducing them to your child in the beginning. We did a show on trying to get into a relationship with someone who has a child, and it depends. Some people debated and said, I would introduce them to my child right away, because then sometimes the child can tell me the vibes on how that person is. And then some people said you shouldn't, because you don't want to traumatize the child, especially if you were with that child's father and then you're not now. So you don't want to keep traumatizing the child. This is the person you don't end up with. So in my opinion, on what I said on that show, was that you shouldn't introduce them right away. You should be dating this person for how long, and then when you feel serious, then I would introduce that person to your child. I would, you know, if the person who you were married to wants to meet that person too, I would introduce that person to that person that you're going to be with. But as a woman coming into that relationship with someone who was divorced and they still have, you know, a child from it, what do I care for? You know what I'm saying? I just want to get to know you. And if you're a good person and it tells me that you're willing to get married, I'm going to get to know you for yourself. I don't think it's a big deal unless it's like really complicated between you and the wife. Like if it's something that could hinder our relationship because it's so complicated with them, then that's different. But that's my answer. So.
Okay.
But I thought he was going through a divorce. He wasn't quite divorced yet.
He said he's divorced. He said he's
divorced.
I'm divorced. Yeah, I'm divorced.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't want to. Okay. I didn't want to divorce her, but yeah.
Okay. Chris, thoughts
on the divorce question?
Yes. Did someone just leave the panel?
Danielle has to leave.
Oh, okay. I gotta go with it. Okay. Yes, on the divorce question.
It would depend on when you started dating again, like I think if you were divorced and like if it was really recent, like the last like 18 months to 2 years, I would probably not date someone. And it sounds like you're still pretty hooked on her, so I think that would probably come out in the initial date.
Chris, look, I've never dated. Like,
No, I'm saying if you said that if you were to start dating again, right? If you were to start dating again, how would the women view this? Was that the scenario?
That's interesting.
Yeah, so this is hypothetical. Like based on right now, where you are right now, my initial thought would be, I don't think you're ready to date yet. Your child wouldn't bother me, and the fact that you've been divorced wouldn't bother me. I would take that into consideration. Is it too soon? And then I have some other personal standards as well, but I don't really think they apply here.
I would say to you that unless you've been through a marriage, you would not really understand what that is. Dating is a completely different spectrum, because it's a young person's game primarily.
It's a what?
And young person's game.
It's dating is a young person's game.
Yeah, I'd say that. The reason why I say that is because, you know, when you get into your 30s and 40s, dating is not something that comes into your head in terms of if you want to meet a next like mate. It doesn't work like that. You're deadly serious and focused on it. It's like black men, like, you know, as you progress in life, you tend to take things a bit more seriously. And black women, I mean, I'll say that as well. Okay, let's go there. Okay, right, we grow up. Let's just say that we grow up. and we see certain things, and we do certain things, okay? The reason I don't date is because I don't feel any value in dating. Like, I know that if someone's going to turn around and talk to me about something, they're going to be totally real at a certain point in time in their life, because that's what they, you know, are living. It's not an acknowledgement. It's not a feeling. They're living it. And it's the same thing where, you know, where we heard the last, you know, I'm not going to say names, but when you're hitting a wall, the issue is it's not that it's not a feeling anymore. There comes a point, and it's just like, this is what it is. It's like there's no conversation. You know, I speak to a lot of people, a lot of females in particular. And that's why I'm really interested in this space. But the thing is they tell me a lot of the time, if they have an issue, they speak to their friends. And the problem with that is that it's an accumulation of a bit of a disaster, because their friends are not educated or qualified to give them the correct answer to enable them.
I think Chris wanted to throw in.
Yeah, Chris can do what she wants. Chris is brilliant, bro. Dude, look, dude, cut me off when you want, bro.
I'm confused. Okay, so I do agree. I do think that oftentimes women go to their friends, and their friends don't oftentimes give them good advice. But so now I'm confused about the scenario. So was the question, if hypothetically, if you were to start dating again, and you approached a woman to initiate the dating process and she knew that you had been married and then you divorced and then you have a child, how would she feel? Was that the initial question?
That was the
believe
initial
so.
question. Yeah.
Okay. So again, do you want to start dating again? So I think my initial answer is the child and divorce wouldn't bother me unless I was getting cues that you may not have been ready to start dating yet. Like you were still kind of going through some hurt from the initial divorce, right? And then also
All right. So my perspective would.
Wait, hold on. Let her finish. Let her finish.
All right, cool, bro.
That was basically the gist, but like, are you ready? And then I have some other qualifiers like age and things like that I would ask about. But as far as your child and your current relationship status, I think that's fine. But sorry, go ahead, Simon. What were you gonna say? Simon?
I'm waiting for the cue from.
Yes, go. I'm done.
Is that okay?
Yeah, she's done now. Yeah, you're good.
All right. yeah. All right, bro. Look, yeah. So, I would think that would be a very complex thing for any female to take into perspective. I wouldn't really think that off the cuff any female or woman would go, okay, you know, you've got a child, you've been through a divorce, like it's been 10 years, like what the fuck happened? I mean, that's what I would think.
Well, it depends. It depends on where you are, like if you're established, your status. It's not really that big of it happens. And the thing is, if you're going into it already thinking, I did cut you off, I apologize.
Yeah, so I mean, to answer your question, it would be a matter of really trying to sort of look. If you have a connection with a certain person, it's like they would understand where you're coming from, because it's like, okay, what's that comedian? Kevin? No, Kevin.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, he went through a divorce like recently, right?
A couple years ago.
Yeah, fairly recently in terms of like public media. So like
he's currently married.
If you tracked his background, he went through the most with his wife.
That was a long time ago. That's not recent.
I'm not talking about recent.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, from an objective perspective. So, like, he's a person and he's a black person. I'm just saying he's relatable. So it's like, the fact of the matter is where is he at now, right? And he was married to someone that was with him when he was not actually famous before.
Mm-hmm.
She stuck with him when he was on tour. I remember his first tour with the children, even like they were in backpacks almost. You get what I'm saying? It was crazy. Like, I mean, it was like, what woman would put up with that? Because I knew the girl I was with would never put up with that.
He went through that would put up with that, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but wow, you know, I mean,
like, there are women out here that are actually want that, like, want a man that wants to do all of that stuff. And that's the thing. There's like, so from my point of view, you've heard the lady's point of view, but from my point of view, it sounds like you really aren't just over her yet. Like, from what I'm hearing from you, like it sounds like this heartbreak still happened like yesterday, and you just can't really believe that anyone can be or match up to her level, you know. And she could have been she could still be an amazing person, but in the end of the day, like, if you're going to be with someone, they're going to try their best to make you happy. If you choose that right person, and that right person might actually do a lot more than your ex did.
Yeah, I understand that. I don't think that the case is that no one's going to match up to her. What it is
see, Unique dropped that in the back chat. The Harts married in 2003 and divorced in 2011. He has since remarried and has 2 kids with the wife Inoko Hart. Since 2011 to now, he's still married. So that marriage thing is not a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I think the whole conversation is really interesting. You know, and it's not about me, but I'll use myself as an example.
Okay.
Because of the fact that I didn't really know, like, I didn't really go into it going, oh yeah, I'm going to have a 10-year sort of relationship. Like, before that, I had really useless relationships. You know, I didn't even know what a relationship was. You know, who used to know what marriage was, all this, that. It was timing. It was really crazy. You know, like, at that point, I think it was about 2-3 years ago, you know, so it's like all this stuff started coming out and people started talking about things. So it became very interesting that the fact that we were able to have these conversations, because prior to that it was an isolated situation. I was just doing my own thing with my wife, you know, at that time. And now, because I have this other story in terms of the outcome of that, that becomes a different thing. But that's another story. And I need to try and understand that, you know. So that's why I'm on here trying to like have a conversation about it, because people have different experiences in terms of different relationships, you know. So I can't detract. I'm not trying to detract. I'm not trying to do this, that, the other. But it's just like, it's interesting to hear other people's perspectives. If you're willing to have an ear to have my perspective, then you know, that might be a good thing. That might be a bad thing. I ain't really gone into it too deep, but at the moment, because I have a child with this lady that I invited into my house, and that's not to detract anything from her, because she's a very astute lady and she is fit as hell. But I'm just saying, I don't really understand the hardship that comes with the relationships of Black people and Black culture. And I didn't even want to trip over there, because that's my next video. But
Chris, please.
I think you brought up a really good point, Clement, about not quite being ready. Because so when I had answered, I had said something about, you know, on the date, not being ready. And within like 5 minutes of that, I don't know if you noticed, but he kind of went through well, you're not qualified to understand. And then before that, you're not going to be as good as her. Mm-hmm. And those types of things, they come up during the date. And I think a lot of people don't work through those. Like, that's the idea of don't make the person you're with pay for what the last person did to you, your past relationships. You have to heal from that completely. And I think a lot of people, they sit there and they think this incident is what's blocking me from my happiness, but really it's you not dealing with it that's blocking you from your happiness. It's not the fact that you have an ex-wife, the fact that you have a child. I think most women would say yes to a date for you, even though you're divorced and you have a child. I think what would stop it from going further is the fact that I don't think that you are open to being with somebody else. I don't think that you'd be open to their feedback, to their perspective. I don't think that you would trust that someone who hasn't been married can get you, can understand you, and that can help you and support you through that growth.
Hold up, bro. Can I just respond to Mrs. Harmony? I think what you did there was poignant, and the fact of the matter is we do need more female perspectives, because us as males, we go through certain things and we don't have that, so we sort of look at things in a certain type of way. But in saying that, there is also the things that males go through, and it's not a negative thing. Like the things I'm working through with my daughter's mother, as I would put it, most men would run a freaking mile. But I respect her because she is my daughter's mother. I have no disrespect for her or any other woman. I have no disrespect for the way she moves. In fact, she's actually taught me things, because I'm sure what she's experiencing is not anything some other women out there have experienced. Now, I don't know, Blooming, if you have had a child or not, but I ain't gonna go there too much. But I'm just saying, when you do that, and when you choose to do that, make sure you understand what the remit is, because what black males have experienced with women who have had children with them is something that they do not understand, and they have no one to cooperate their story with, and that's been a problem. There's no leaflets, pamphlets, things that are out there that will tell us as black men how to respond to our black women when they start becoming something that we do not understand, that initially we loved. I do not dislove my daughter's child.
Okay. But I know your situation. I know your situation a little bit. And that has nothing to do with black. Okay, you know what? Tack Williams.
You shut me down whenever you want, bro. It's your panel.
No, it's Tack.
When I said my daughter's child, I said that for a reason, because it's just something new I learned.
Hold on. I want to get Tack's opinion on this, on what he's heard so far, and what he thinks.
No, I was just listening to you guys. I'm listening to the brother. You know, I think one's person. Early this evening, I had dinner with one of my exes, which we do, right? And she was explaining some things about some things that I said and how she processed it and what it meant to her. And I was explaining some things on my side, right? And we was having fun with it. And I said, you know what? I'll pay for dinner if both things are, or one of the other things are correct. You pay for dinner if what I was thinking was incorrect and what you was thinking was incorrect. And of course, both of them was incorrect. So she paid for dinner, because a lot of times when we fill in the blanks, we have a low success rate, right? So, but in terms of moving forward, dealing with the next person or whatever, I'm gonna say it like this, man. I'm gonna just keep it 100, man. The next woman, she don't want to hear all that bullshit, man. She don't want to hear that, man. Seriously, she don't want to hear that. Yeah, I know. Get counseling. Yeah, I get it. Deal with it, all that. I'm telling you, when you doing interviews for your next job, they really don't want to hear that you didn't feel like getting up Monday morning for that last job you was at. I don't care how true it was. They don't want to hear it on the interview. That's all I'm saying. So if you bring that energy with you, they're going to be like, they're going to step back. And now if they just want to smash with you, if it's just strictly a physical or superficial thing, they might deal with that for a minute and then they out. But in terms of really doing the interview where you're going to come back for the second portion of the interview where they might hire you, i.e. the relationship, you stacking the odds up against you already because it's already written on your forehead. So unless somebody is looking for that, unless that type of energy is compatible to the person that's out there seeking, and then that makes a good fit, it fits like a glove for them, it ain't happening. Because in general, people don't want that. They just don't. And then you say, well, I thought they wanted honesty. I think it's people out there that did. Yeah, there's people out there that do that. We're talking about increasing your probability of something occurring, not finding this unique thing over here and something special over there. What is the probability that the next woman or the next man, whether you coming out of a marriage or just a committed relationship, want to sit there and let you beat them down with how special, unique, and you going on and on about something previous? And I'm not talking about this brother. I'm talking about anybody. If part of you interviewing me or me interviewing you or somebody interviewing anybody for a potential relationship is going to be the whims and fancies of the previous person, good luck with that beyond something quick and physical. That's where I'm at with that, man.
So what's your solution?
My solution is what you said yourself and taking your time, viewing it. My solution is part of what the panel has been saying, but I'm just saying in the practical way, you may not want to bring that to the next person. So in other words, you work on some things, but then you got to go to an interview. So you go to bed early at night on a Sunday, not you, I'm just using an example. We go to bed early at night on a Sunday night so we can get up the next month, that morning, Monday, and get to the job on time. Because we know part of the reason why we lost the previous job was we kept being late on Mondays. But we don't go for that interview and they say, hey, we see you got the education, you got the experience. What's going to be different here? I'm not going to sit there and say I could never make it to work on Monday mornings. You know, no, I'm going to be like, I'm excited about the company. I hear that y'all do this. That really does that. That's the same way with that individual. I'm out there meeting somebody or whatever like that. I'm going to find some goodness in them. I'm going to find some positive vibes to find that common area with them and get over that initial stages so that we can at least make it to the part where we can get into the substantive stuff, the substance, the content. And now we can start using the barometer or thermometer to see how human we can actually interact with each other. But initially out the gate, ain't nobody going to be with that. I don't mean nobody in the binary way. Majority of people, bell curve, 68% of the people, they not going to be with that. They're trying to get away from something that they just got out of, or not just got out of, but they don't want to deal with no more. So they're not going to sign back up to re-engineer therapy that they already had or a person they already got over by being the confidant for you or me or anybody else to cry on their shoulder. Now you will find some people out there. There are people out there. I'm not over it. You're not over it. Our energy is matching. This is going to work. And it's love. Y'all can go to counseling together. I'm just talking about the majority of people are walking forward. They're not walking laterally or skipping backwards. That's all I'm saying. So all the things that you probably heard and know, because I've listened to you talk before, to me, you are a highly intelligent human being. To me, you can dial in. I listen to you talk. I listen to you give your opinions about different subject matters on different things that have been discussed on this panel. I've even seen you once or twice, maybe on another live I was on or something like that. You are a very, forget smart or school or you look good on paper. I don't know nothing about that. You are a very intelligent individual. So to me, you have the tools and the resource. Now you have to work out what you need to work out. But I'm just saying, don't bring that to that next interview with that potential wifey or that next relationship, because there's a low chance that that person wants that on the onset, even though they might be the perfect fit once you can pass the first things, the first portions of the interview and get hired. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Bars. That's serious.
You and I both know. What's your name, bro? What can I call you?
Simon, bro.
Simon. You and I both know that the majority of these women are lying right to your face, in my face, when they say, I want honesty, transparency. You got to be afraid of God. You got to try that on that first interview. You be walking around here masturbating the rest of your damn life.
I want honesty.
You walking around here and look, I straight out tell them. I can't.
You been real, bro.
I straight out tell them. Listen,
real, bro.
I straight out tell them. You can't get that from me right now. And they say, well, why you won't get that to me now? You're gonna get 70%. Every 10 questions you ask me, 3 of them is lies. You pick which ones. Ain't no way I'm giving you that right now. They say, well, why not? Because of my carnal self, because of my physical self. I'm trying to interview well. What I look like sitting here pouring it out on you? You lying, telling me that.
Ebony hit me up, man.
Come on, man. That's why I don't play the game. That's why I don't play the game with them. When I be hearing these women say this on these panels, I hear them say it in my face on the street. I rush to let them know you're going to get 70%. And they laugh.
But that's being honest, though. Telling them they only getting 70% is being honest.
That's all I can do to somebody that's lying in front of my face.
Damn.
All I have and they'll get mad because you're being honest.
Yeah, that's true.
10% isn't enough. I want the full 100.
Bro, you gotta interview. Now, think about this, Simon. Think about this. Whatever happened or didn't happen, it happened. You can blame it on God, Allah, whoever the Jews worship, right? But the point of it is, you got a whole future ahead of you, and you got a lot going on within that you can pull in and offer probably to so many people. The thing is, get off that island. Get outside of the vacuum. All those things that you need, they out there, bro. All you got to do is reach out. When the universe catch you reaching out, instead of just trying to internalize it all, the universe will rush to put things in your path that say, man, you think you're going through it, I got you. Here goes something you can use. Here goes something you can use. Here goes something you can do. Now, none of them things is going to be that next wifey or next committed relationship necessarily, but they will be there. It'll run to you. It'll meet you there. And then you can get cleaned up, man, get suited and booted and go on that interview. And that person will never know the difference until you make it in that stage of that relationship where now we're going to put that to a test and see where y'all really at as human beings. I'm telling you, man, I've been on interviews. I'm just letting you know.
Listen, like, I've got to bounce, but
yeah, we're actually closing out the panel. We went 20 minutes past.
You are something else, right? Yeah, like I gotta give you some flowers right now. Like
appreciate that.
Flowers. Like this guy has put forward like so many people. Like it's unbelievable, and no one would know until that day drops. Okay. Peace to the panel. I appreciate all of you. You know, I got my final words, man. Like, I gotta do my shit. As we do. Like, we gotta get to work. Like, I gotta wake up and go to work, right? I got my daughter.
Hold up, Simon. There we go.
Woo!
Finish it
Oh,
out.
don't do that.
We're closing out the panel. We're closing out
all
the
right,
panel.
okay. Look, CK.
Man, appreciate that. Thank you.
Look, peace to the panel. You guys, and especially the last guy that spoke, you need to check him out because he spoke some real truth. But I love you guys. You take care of yourselves. You catch me on Simon IG or whatever. Just Google Simon Hectic, whatever. Like, I ain't on no this and that, but I rock with true people, and that will tell time. I'm time up there, time.
The quack. Unique.
All right. Thank you for joining CKQ's podcast. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you for letting me back on. I wanted to apologize to the person that was always on here for my behavior the last time, but she's not here. But if she watching, I apologize of how I came at you in that way. That will never happen again. I will always be at my center. I am just growing and it's a process. But check me out on IG most of the time at Neek is the Night or Married Ladies Opinions. Also Facebook and YouTube, 3 Married Ladies Opinions, the stuff you see behind me. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Chris.
Hey everyone, I hope that you enjoyed that show as much as I did. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button for CKQ Podcast. And if you want to know more about me, you can find me on Instagram at The Blooming Ebony and also here on YouTube at The Blooming Ebony. I have a series called Petals of Wisdom, and we should probably have our next episode this Sunday. And also, I think I can announce it now. You can also find me on Unsolicited Security Boss for a series called The Standard. I believe that was already announced. So I believe this Saturday or Sunday, May 22nd, you can find me over there. I believe the time is 3 p.m. PST, I think. But stay tuned and hit notifications over there if you would like to catch that series.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Talk Williams, host and creator of The Examine Life podcast. Without hesitation, or let me say it again, without hesitation, come over to my boy CKQ's podcast right here on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and contribute. That's right. This brother gonna give you the platform to voice your opinion, to pour into others, and to reach out, man, and get some help if that's what you're looking for. It's each one teach one, and whatever you think you got going on, the only way to keep it is to give it away. So I just want to send a big shout out to CKQ, and again to the brother Simon, man. I look now and it says Simon Hectic. Simon Hectic, keep it hectic, bro. But I look forward to seeing y'all in the near future. Thanks, CKQ.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a fantastic, amazing show. Great conversation all around. Loved it, really. I hope anyone watching, anyone catching the replay has learned a lot from this as much as I did, as much as I think everyone on the panel did. That was really good discussion all around. But if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button to this channel for more content like this. We go live every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Look for more things. We're going to start dropping a little bit more things during the course of the week. I know I'm going to be doing a show with Chris pretty soon, Bloom and Bo, and with John, Mind of a Therapist, pretty soon. So look for that because we're going to start doing some drops. So until then, we will see you. What? Let me get myself ready. I didn't even get myself ready. I'm sorry. Amateur hour. We will see you next week, people.
Good night.
Peace.
If we're doing everything right, I think we should be vetting our wives, like go to their parents, go to their fathers.
They know they shouldn't have let me start speaking my mind in the booth, start speaking the truth. Might get shocked.
I think you're just saying, okay, actions have consequences, and I'm not going to support this person's actions. Like, you don't have to cancel them and say, like, I hate you.
Innocent lives have to die.
But the whole thing is men are I also. That man was on the other side doing the exact same thing, and his decision with his eyes was to walk away.
Inside your soul.
Now we can paint the perfect picture without belittling each other. Cause under God's system,
we are equipped to handle that responsibility, but not every man is fit to handle that responsibility.
I done seen Flint, Michigan,
and that's just being
cities. They pissing in project buildings that got a roof that leaks, resulting in missing ceilings. Hard to sleep. Children going to schools dealing issues deep.
So I think society does make it more difficult for short men, but I don't think that it's impossible that they can find someone.
And expecting you to do your part. It ain't hard to see they trying to keep black in the back, just like Rosa Parks. Cops shooting blacks as if they get a token from God. School rob you with needed resources.
Is the weaker vessel and the more vulnerable.
Absolutely,
vessel.
100%.
You don't look at the man like, oh, poor son, you were violated. No, you like, right.
And nobody. They shift my stick like some cars. And when you're lonely in your darkest thoughts come, I know it's hard, but God shines his light on all I play their part. And it's the start.
Put myself in a situation where I can only rely on a man. Like if I'm married and being a stay-at-home mom, I need to have a backup in case anything happens. I can't only rely on him. You know what I'm saying?
A flower will grow once you plant the seed inside your soul.
See, I'm a poet, and the best part of me shows it here to speak the message. What is known, but